Good afternoon, everybody, and thanks for tuning in. John Kelly Profile here, and welcome. Welcome to our very, very sad series, Who Killed Libby German and Abby Williams? This is actually part 47. I can't believe that I've done this many shows. And at this time, I have a disclaimer. Everybody's innocent until proven guilty in a court of law, including Richard Allen. Please stay with me. I'm going to be deep diving into Richard's brain. All right. We're going to look into his mind. We're going to go deep into the sexual creep's mind. Tomorrow, we're going to be talking about Odinism, in Delphi. Yeah. Can you imagine Odinism in Delphi? At this time, I'd like to thank everybody for purchasing my book. I truly appreciate that, Discovering Lazarus. Thank you for all your kind comments, for all your purchases, for all your great feedback. Can't thank you enough. The good, the bad, the ugly of John Kelly, how I kicked a serious cocaine habit, became a counselor, psychotherapist, and a profiler. Thank you again so much. We really appreciate it. Please feel free to subscribe, and we always enjoy your comments. Please continue to comment and let us know what you think. Now, the other thing I'm focused on right now that I want to look at is memberships. Just real quick, we're going to be starting memberships. We'll keep you apprised of this. It'll be coming in the future, and they're going to be private meetings we're going to have where we're going to psychoanalyze and deep dive into these crazy people's brains, these crazy sociopathic, psychopathic brains. That's what the membership is going to be about. That's what the private group's going to be about. Did you hear the news? Richard Allen wants cameras in the court. Okay, that's driving me pretty much crazy listening to that. Okay. The early reports of linking him to scaring people is where I'm headed on this. Okay. Because I want to show you as we're deep diving into this guy's mind, I want to show you why he wants cameras in the court. My 2 cents on it. Okay. Could be a couple things, but we're gonna nail this right now. Okay. We have early reports of him scaring people, liking to scare people, jumping out, liking to startle people at work, whatever, whenever he had the opportunity. See, this is kind of a control, fear kind of thing. He likes to startle people. He likes to, create fear in people, and that's like, the very tip of the iceberg where we're just starting to see his pathology being acted out, or the public starting to see it, as he's working at Walmart and I think at another place where he worked, right? And from what we understand, while at Walmart, we have Joe Lynn's story. I truly can't thank Joe Lynn enough for coming out with a story. It's very brave of her, and how she felt and why she felt that Richard Allen was a sexual creep. Okay. I mean, she's just upfront and honest with her story here and what it was like working under him. Years before Abby and Libby, this guy was one creepy, filthy dude, man. Okay. And a flirty dude. Filthy, flirty dude is what he was before Abby and Libby. Okay. And we're going to put a link in the description so you can get to Joe Lynn's story. It's great. I give her so much credit for being so brave and coming out with this, I mean, this guy liked to walk around Walmart and talk to women that he worked with while they were in vulnerable positions. I'm being very polite and nice here. If you know what I mean, like they were maybe bent over fixing something, He made the statement, what a lucky guy I am, I get to watch you at work. I get to look at you at work. Okay. This is how he's talking, to these employees that work for him. Okay. That are under his supervision while they're working in vulnerable positions on the job at Walmart. All right. This is all based on Joe Lynn's story, which I totally believe. I have nothing, there's no reason for me not to believe it. Okay. He even asked her and her female fiance if they ever had a threesome. Now, this is important to me because this guy's focused on a threesome. All right. And we know Libby and Abby were murdered together. Okay. And he's the major suspect. All right. So this guy has a focus early on, years before Libby and Abby, okay, of a fantasy. He's fantasizing a threesome. He's talking about it. Okay. He's verbalizing. All right. So he was constantly making sexual innuendos. I mean, it was just going back and forth, right? He even followed them into the bathroom. All right. He follows them into the bathroom and startles. Again, he liked to startle people, as I mentioned in the beginning of this. Jolynn turns around and said, he didn't knock. Okay. That's a question I have. Okay. He didn't knock. So they were startled. He said there was a report of shoplifting. So there's a report of shoplifting. You just barge into a women's bathroom. I don't know, Richard. I think there's more to it than that, buddy. You know what I mean? Just unbelievable. You're just unbelievable. The more we know about you, the worse it gets. She said, why? What's the matter? He said, why? What's the matter? Don't you hang out with me? Don't you want to hang out with me? What's the matter with me? Well, in her mind, she's talking about how creepy he is. And he has gotten to the point where now, after barging into that bathroom, he has totally and completely creeped them out. Finally, Joanne and the other woman went to the general manager of Walmart to complain. And that was the end of Richard Allen at that store. Then she didn't hear about him for about 10 years or whatever until he popped up in the news. And I'm sure it took her breath away. She couldn't believe it, who this guy was that was going to different food restaurants with him, food service situations like, fast food, really, Burger King, and I'm not sure what other restaurant, but on a couple of occasions, he palled around. He made it his business to ride with them and pal with them over to a fast food restaurant. You see, what Richard Allen is, as far as I'm concerned, is a narcissist who is a sexual sociopath. Okay. This is where I'm at right now. All right. He may move up to complete psychopath before this is over with, but he's really definitely a narcissist who's a sexual sociopath at this point in time. And along with being a suspected murderer of children, killing a couple of kids. Okay. And pretty sure for sexual reasons. All right. Especially when we start to look at this history and him wanting to do, a threesome. That's something that's very important here. This was years before. So we can see if he did have that fantasy, which I believe he did, how that fantasy just grew over time. That's how it always goes. The other thing, too, is this guy was pretty old, when Libby and Abby were murdered. These guys usually don't start that old. Usually start younger, even a lot younger. So we still need to keep him under a microscope and see where he's been. No question about it. But getting back to his narcissism, which I think is why, he's really pushing, to have cameras in court. Okay. Because he wants to become infamous. See, people that are really narcissistic, they need what we call narcissistic supply. Okay. I mean, as long as the fans and the crowd is clapping for them for whatever reason and giving them a lot of positive feedback, feeding that ego, they're all right. But once it starts to slow down, they have to look. And I always say, and it doesn't have to be about murder or crime. They always look for victims. I believe people with narcissistic personality disorders, really, they don't have relationships. They take hostages. Okay. So anyway, he wants to become infamous. That's why he wants this trial and cameras in the courtroom, because he wants everybody to see him. He wants everything to be about him. Okay. He wants to go down in infamy, as I mentioned. All right. And what better way to do it? Now, you have to ask yourself, having cameras in the courtroom and demanding you have cameras in the courtroom, how is that going to help his case? I can't see how it's going to help his case at all. But one thing I will tell you, what concern does he have with having cameras in there, okay, about really, really tearing apart the hearts of Libby and Abby's family and friends? Think about that. Think about that for a minute. I mean, this guy has no conscience. Doesn't he think how cameras and the whole world watching is going to hurt families and family members? Okay. But he doesn't care because he's going to get his 15 minutes of fame. That's what he's after. He doesn't even care about his own family. What do you think this is going to do to his family? Think about it. Just for 1 minute, think about it. He's not concerned on how it upsets or embarrasses or, hurts his own family. Okay, he has no shame. He doesn't care, okay, how much they're humiliated. And he certainly, as I mentioned, doesn't care about Abby and Libby's family and friends and how much they're hurt and drugged through this long trial on camera. I'll tell you something. He could want cameras in the courtroom for some other reason too. Maybe at this point it's legal manipulation or negotiation. I don't know what he and his legal team have in mind. But we know that the breaking news is he wants cameras in the courtroom. All right. So this is my 2 cents. They may want to try and, kind of bluff law enforcement and the courts in Delphi and try to turn around and say, okay, well, we're going to show this to the whole world. I mean, how long it took you, to try and catch me if you think I'm the guy. And, you weren't able to do it until like 6 years later or something like that. I mean, this could be some kind of legal manipulation, but I don't think so. I don't think so now after the early report we saw minutes ago about Odinism in Delphi, because now I think he's going to try and make a case, worldwide on camera that, the Odinism crew up there, whoever they might be, I think they're called the Sons of Odin or Brothers of Odin or something like that. I know there's a group by that name up around there somewhere, decided to ritualistic, kill Abby and Libby. And he certainly, had absolutely nothing to do about it. I mean, everybody goes for a walk right on the trail, with a gun and a knife or a sharp object, right? I mean, that's normal for people to go out for a nice leisurely, walk to distress with a gun and a sharp object or, good sized knife, right? That's I guess normal, right? So that's what I guess they're going to try and portray. We'll know. We'll know. There's no question about it. And the other thing I want to bring out, Richard, and this is directly to you, obviously you would rather reign in hell than serve in heaven. I mean, obviously, with this acting out, the cameras in court making a big deal out of this, instead of just doing what you're supposed to do, pay for your obligations, you want to turn around and you want to, go to hell in a handbasket with this and do everything you can to upset these families even more than you already have. And I know I'm long-winded here, but I'm pissed. Okay. I'm very upset over this, what this guy's trying to do to, poor family members. So, the other thing you have to understand is that this guy was a living, breathing time bomb in Delphi while Abby and Libby were dead. Yeah, he was alive and well. They were dead. And this guy was a time bomb. But the reason, major reason, that this guy didn't go off and kill anybody else was thank God for Libby, right? Libby and her camera, Libby and the video. Okay. That was a major, major reason why, as far as we know, this guy didn't go off and kill somebody else, over the 6-year period. And again, he's a suspect in the murders. So I cannot say he's a murderer, definitely. Okay. But the police believe he is, law enforcement believe he is, and he's going off to court. There's no question about it. So God bless Libby and Abby. God bless all of you. Thank you so much for watching. I can't thank you enough. Please be safe out there. Very important, dangerous world we live in today. And again, take care of yourselves. Have a good day. And God bless. We'll see you probably tomorrow on, the Odin crew or Odinism in Delphi. Thank you. Have a great night.